everyone, welcome to the video. This one's about my relationship with the Canon 400mm L prime lens f5.6 accompanied with my Canon EOS 70D 1.6 crop body. And I've had this lens now for around a year. When I first got it, I had some very mixed results purely because I didn't understand how the lens worked in relation to the environment. For example, today is quite a bright day, so I can really up the shutter speed in this lens, and that won't affect the ISO too much. This lens has no image stabilization, so it takes a real lot of delicate care to squeeze the best quality out of the photos you can. I'm in the wetland at the moment, and it's breeding season in April here in the Netherlands. It's full of life. The birds are just going crazy, so it's quite noisy, but I thought this is a great opportunity to see how I perform with the lens after a year of ownership. Well, I tried shooting some of those blackback gulls in flight, and first I used my single shot center one shot focus point, and then of course they're so fast there wasn't much point in that, but I did get some shots and I think they were pretty sharp of a couple of them in flight. So then I went to old servo and I switched my shutter speed to 2,000th of a second to 2,500th of a second, and I think I got some reasonable keepers with that. With the 70D, I think you've got around 21 autofocus points clustered around the center. It's not exactly like the R5 or the R6 mirrorless bodies, where you have the autofocus points across most of the composition, and you have a dedicated animal eye focusing system as well. The good old 70D doesn't have that, but I think the frame rate of the 70D is quite high. You can snap off around 7 frames a second, which is pretty good for this old DSLR. I see a little lapwing standing on the mud flats next to a couple of Greylag geese, so I'll try and get a couple of nice shots of that. With the 400 5.6, for maximum sharpness I do stop down a little bit. I've got it stopped down to 7.1, so the lapwing is kind of blending into the background a little bit. I'll try F5.6, which is wide open for this lens, and see if it brings it out from the background a bit with more shallow depth of field. It's a little bit edgy, so that shot was 2,500th of a second at f5.6, so we'll see how that works out. Well, I just walked forward a little bit, and I managed to get a different angle on the lapwing which put the background into a better light, and I was able to lie down on the ground as well, which was a better composition. Well, there's an avocet feeding out there, and it seems to be coming a bit closer, so I'm going to see if I can get a shot of it if it gets close enough. At the moment it's just too far away and the image quality will suffer, so fingers crossed that it comes closer. Yeah, the avocets, they didn't come close enough, but I was greeted by a bunch of greylag geese just lifting off from the water here, and I managed, I think, to get some really nice keepers. I was at around 2,000th of a second shutter speed, f7.1, and a couple of those shots turned out really nice because the sun was highlighting the colours of their feathers and the motion was being really frozen by the high shutter speed, so that was really good. I could have really used an 800mm f11 for those avocets, but we don't have that, we've got 400, but I think we're doing pretty well so far. Behind me we've got some tufted duck. They're a diving duck, so I'll see if I can get some shots of those guys. It's a breeding pair, male and female. Well, I got some nice shots of those tufted ducks. I did my shutter speed between 2,000th of a second and 320th of a second when I thought my platform was stable enough. I got down on my belly just to get a better angle and a better composition, but I'm really paranoid about ticks around here in the Netherlands. There's a lot of Lyme disease, and the last thing I want to get is that. So I'm a bit reluctant to get all the way down, just because if I make a mistake and I don't pick up the tick that's on me, then it could be not good. But I'm just seeing how I went with that steady platform. It'll be interesting to see what the results are. We've got two great crested grebes over there, and they're doing a mating dance, and a big train just went past them and it didn't faze them in the slightest. Unfortunately they're backlit, they're a long way away. I'm going to try and get closer, and hopefully the lighting conditions will improve and we can get some special shots of the great crested grebe mating dance. There's a great grey heron there behind me. and it was just opening its wings to dry them, I think, or warm up its body in the sun, and trains were going by it and nothing was disturbing it. But when I pointed my camera at it, I got 3 or 4 frames and then it decided to close its wings again. So I didn't get it on video, but I got some interesting shots in portrait mode with the 400. It was at 2,000th of a second and 7.1, but I was really wobbly, so it'll be interesting to see if those shots come out. So how do I feel about this lens now, a year or so on from when I first bought it? Well, I think in the first 2 to 3 months when I bought this lens, I was really disappointed. The shots that I had obtained with it were disappointing, and that wasn't really any fault of the lens, it was more the fault of me. I'd been shooting up to that point only with image stabilized lenses, a 70-200 and a 17-50, both Sigmas, f2.8s. So I really underestimated how much shutter speed had to do with image sharpness and quality. The other thing I was surprised with was I heard this lens was very, sharp straight out of the box at f5.6, and that wasn't my experience at all. But I'm just wondering whether that's to do with the fact that my shutter speeds were too low and that it was image blurry. But I've learnt to stop down to around 6.3 and 7.1, and I've bumped up my shutter speed significantly, so it really depends on the day. If you've got a dull day, you're going to have significantly higher ISOs. If you have a bright day, then the ISO and the shutter speeds will be better for image quality. I've also tried this lens with the mirrorless body, the Canon R5, which has in-body image stabilization, and that works really well with this. So this lens is definitely a keeper for me because I'll be migrating into the mirrorless cameras sooner or later, and it's good to know that this lens performs well with the R5 and will perform similarly with the Canon R6. So I think you've seen from my results today that you can get some really good results on wildlife and birds with this lens. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe if you haven't. Don't forget to ring my bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! My shutter speeds were just too slow. I think I've chosen the wrong place to do this because there's bloody trains every 2 minutes. So I think you've seen from the results I've achieved today that you can really get some good shots with this lens on wildlife. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Give it a like. If you haven't subscribed already, do so, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye! And there goes the train.